never be a memory.
And what's going on, Read My Lips people? We are back. Yeah, I know it's been a couple days. It's been a couple days. You probably thought I fell off the face of the earth, but I am still here. I had to get better. I got sick. Wasn't feeling up to the task. Wasn't feeling great. And we all know that happens after you drink way too many Coronas. So, yeah, I'm feeling much better. I'm feeling like Rocky. I'm feeling like I'm back to my old self. And boy, oh boy, is there a ton of shit to talk about. So, before I get into the Yang news, before I get into the Yang biz, let's talk about what we missed over the last couple days, shall we? So, obviously, the last segment I covered was Amy and Pete dropping out. And then the results of that were Joe Biden fucking won the South. He won the South. And then proceeded to, after that, demolish on Super Tuesday. He absolutely obliterated Bernie Sanders on Super Tuesday. So, there's a couple different reasons for that, I feel like. It was momentum from winning South Carolina. There was, a sort of understanding between all the centrists and moderates when, Beto gave the head nod, when Pete gave the head nod, when Amy gave the head nod, Obama reached out to them. And so they all coalesced around Joe Biden. Now, Sanders would have still been competitive. Sanders would have at least won 3 more states. At the very least, he would have won 3 more states and then been competitive in the rest if he hadn't won it. If Elizabeth Warren wasn't still in that race. Elizabeth Warren had no path to victory. She had 0 chance. Nada. Zip. Zilch. 0. Yet she stayed in for Super Tuesday for some odd reason that no one can figure out. And she pretty much sucked up a bunch of progressive votes that would have went to Sanders. Now, would every Elizabeth Warren supporter go to Bernie Sanders? No, of course not. But a large portion would have. And she pretty much was a roadblock for him in, those contests. And Trump spoke on it a little bit. Let's hear what he had to say.
No questions on the election. This has to be good.
Thanks, guys. Let's go. Come on, guys. Jennifer, let's go.
I think the election was great last night. I thought it was great. I thought the results it was a great comeback for Joe Biden. Incredible comeback when you think about it. But if you would have looked, if Elizabeth Warren would have done what she probably should have done from their point of view, he would have won, right? He would have won a lot of states, including Massachusetts, probably Texas, definitely Minnesota. So Bernie would have won states that he lost, and he lost fairly easily. But in particular, Massachusetts, I would say Minnesota in particular. I would also say Texas. And some others. So had she, I put something out on it this morning, she was really a spoiler because other people got out and those votes inured to Joe. And those people really helped Joe, by getting out early, by the couple that got out and did the endorsement. In the case of Elizabeth Warren, had she gotten out, it would have been a very different situation, I think. It would have been a very different night. Just that one simple move. Had she left, you pick up Massachusetts, Minnesota, and probably Texas. And those are the 3 I checked. I would imagine there are others that he would have picked up too. So Elizabeth Warren was the single biggest factor in that election last night. It would have been a very different thing. And not in a positive way for her, in a very selfish way for her. She was very selfish from that point of view. Now, do I care? No, because we're just waiting to find out who we're running against. But when you look at it, pretty incredible. If she would have if she would have gotten out and endorsed. Even if she didn't even have to endorse. I think there's a lot of bad blood there. But had she gotten out and endorsed, he would have been a lot better off.
What do you think happens now?
Well, now I think it's a very tough. I think it's tough. I think Joe has an easier path right now, believe it or not. I see Mini Mike just got out, and he's going to, try and save face by putting some money into Biden's campaign. And we'll see what happens. I don't think that's going to have an impact. You got to look. Money has to be spent wisely. One thing this whole thing has shown that you can't buy an election. It's a beautiful thing. Steyer put in $250, $300 million, and now who knows where he is? He's home probably licking his wounds. And Bloomberg put in probably $1 billion. And, sometimes you just don't have what it takes. And I said to him, it's not easy doing what I did, is it? So it's one of those things, but it's going to be very interesting to think that this would have changed so much, because if you go before Saturday, before South Carolina, I mean, Joe had absolutely no chance, according to you people. But they used to say that about me, too. Not as much, though. I think I always felt I had a very good chance, but I'd watch and they'd say, well, can't happen, but it happened, and it happened pretty easily. I think I think Joe actually would have the advantage now. If you look at the states he's going to with Florida and others, I think he's got an advantage in those states. But again, had Elizabeth Warren endorsed Bernie, you're talking about a whole different subject. And that's not even a question. You're talking about because he would have gotten 80, 90, almost, he would have gotten most of those votes. So you're talking about a much different thing.
What do you make of the stock market's reaction today? It seems like there's been a sigh of relief that
I think
now
there
that
is.
Biden has the
Well, I've
delegate
said from the
Sanders.
beginning, it's partially this. It's a big part this, but it's also the fact that they didn't like seeing what they're seeing. But they don't like Joe either. Joe's become, a lot of people are with Joe. If you look at those people, they're worse than Bernie in terms of being radical left. Some of Joe's handlers, and that's what they are, is handlers. I want to be nice, but they are handlers. Some of Joe's handlers are further left than Bernie. That's pretty scary. So it's going to be that way. Yeah.
Do you think Bloomberg's money would be more powerful without Bloomberg himself in the race? He said he's going
Well, it couldn't be less powerful, because look what $1 billion did. He won nothing. He got so few delegates. It's incredible. I would say probably, well, I know now he's doing that because, he's spiteful, and he's a spiteful guy. I know him well. He's a very spiteful guy. He's very upset. He made a fool out of himself, to be honest with you, and he's not too happy about that. I think the first thing he should do is fire his political consultants, because I know him. I could have told him very easily, you can't win. You can put $2 billion in, you can't win. Okay, thank you, everybody.
So yeah, and so she came number 3 in her own state, which isn't surprising in the least bit. So yeah, she really, I don't want to say she screwed Bernie, because she's not in it for Bernie. She's in it for herself, obviously. She wants to be president of the United States. So I'm not going to say she screwed Bernie. That wouldn't be true. But she, made herself look foolish in staying in this race when, it was clear and evident she wasn't going to win. She just wasn't. Like the whole time, and we've covered it, the whole time she was like, I don't care if you get the most votes. We're going to take it to the end. And then, backtrack to a little bit before that. She's like, Hillary Clinton got the most votes. Hillary Clinton should be president. So she was like really whiny. And, let's just stay on Elizabeth Warren's subject. Because I know Sanders supporters are really trying to court her right now. I know they're like, oh, they're sucking it up and they're trying to court her right now because they need her. Look, I saw the interview that she had with Rachel Maddow, and she's still butthurt over snake emojis. She's still butthurt over snake emojis. Hello, this is 2020 knocking. Welcome to the internet. Hi, how you doing? Hi, Liz. This is 2020. Where you been? You're running for president of the United States. Yeah, snake emojis? You brush those off. The fact that still bothers you. The fact, and there's a real Bernie bro narrative out there. I mean, it's gone full. Like, I know there was that narrative within the Yang Gang, like, and it was definitely a narrative. Like, were there toxic Bernie supporters? Yes, just like they are in every single group. Yes. Even today, Yang's not even running anymore, and Yang Gang and Bernie supporters are still going at each other. Like, I don't even fucking understand. Like, why are we still doing this? But there's been a narrative about the Bernie bros, and it's gone full course. Like, it's somebody sneezes wrong. Ugh, such a Bernie bro sneeze. Like, it's almost become like a troll and a meme. Like, at one point it had meaning. Now it's just like trolling. But this is the internet. Trolling is it's a part of the norm. So, Elizabeth Warren got trolled with snake emojis, and she couldn't handle it. But lady, you want to be president? Get over it. That's not that big of a deal. There are bigger fish to fry. There are bigger things to worry about. But there's bad blood between them. There's bad blood. Ever since that, debate, technically a little bit before the debate, where she said untruly that Bernie Sanders said a woman couldn't be president. Ever since that happened, because even hardcore Warren supporters I've talked to don't believe that he said that. They believe he said something, along the lines of, in this climate or in this era, this Trumpian era, it might be harder for a woman to become president or something along those lines. But nobody believes that he specifically told Elizabeth Warren, a woman can't be president. Listen up, toots. It's not happening. Hey, chick, a woman's not being president. Yeah, that didn't happen. Like that didn't happen. But there's bad blood between them. So I'm not surprised she didn't drop out. The snake emojis only added to, the fire, added fuel to the fire that was there. Just all bullshit. It almost seems childish. Like, why are you in an interview with Rachel Maddow and we're still like, Bernie bros? Like, I'm so over this whole Bernie bro bullshit. Like, it's to a point now, like I said, where it's a meme. It's a meme. There was a Trump supporter trolling some Yang Gang people I saw, and in one of the Yang Gang, I keep saying forums, but on Facebook it's not really a forum. I guess like Reddit would be a forum, but he was trolling them, and they immediately started saying, Bernie bro. Let's get this Bernie bro talk out of here. Bernie bro. But if you click on the guy's page and you go to his page, he's a Trump supporter. He's got Trump gear on, Trump this, Trump that, go to Trump rallies. But they immediately, it's just a fucking Bernie bro. I'm like, no, he's MAGA. He's MAGA. He's MAGA. He's MAGA. So it's been a clusterfuck. And she didn't drop out. And it cost Bernie, a lot. And I'd say Biden might be the favorite now in this scenario. Whereas before, it looked like Bernie was going to get a plurality. Now it might be Biden. We got some more states coming up, but the narrative is Biden is the guy. However, I find it really hard to believe that this guy,
time friend, and she's a friend. She's been my friend in and out of public life. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by the thing. Tomorrow's Superstar Tuesday.
All right, Chuck. Thank you very much.
All right. It's Chris, but anyway.
Chris. My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. Look me over. If you like what you see, help out. If not, vote for the other guy. I love this place. Look, what's not to like about Vermont? One of the things I'm proudest of is getting passed, getting moved, getting control of the Paris Climate Accord. I'm the guy that came back after meeting with Deng Xiaoping and making the case that I believe China would join if we put pressure on them. You had people like you had people like the former chairman and leader of the party in Germany. Go to Joe 303 3-0. Watch what happened when those kids from Parkland came up to see me when I was vice president. They went into and some of you covered it. It's not that they don't want to help. They don't know quite what to do. Play the radio. Make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night. The phone. Make sure the kids hear words. And to get hot, I got hairy legs that turn, blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight and then watch the hair come back up again. They'd look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
Is going to go one-on-one with this guy.
Mini Mike, but I think he's out of it. I would like to spend $700 million and end up with nothing. Mini Mike. I know him well. I knew that was going to happen. That was probably the worst debate performance in the history of presidential debates. Do we agree? Has there ever been anything like that? But he's going to keep spending the money. I think this weekend he's going to, I hear his ad stop on Tuesday. He's going for Tuesday. He's going to spend a lot of money. It just shows you that you can't buy an election. I mean, there's a point at which people say, you got to bring the goods a little bit, too. You got to bring the goods. Boy, did Pocahontas destroy him, I'll tell you. And look what I did to her. She choked. You know, she went out and got a test because I was killing her with a Pocahontas. Remember, I said, I have more Indian blood in me than she does, and I have none. Right? I said it. I said it to her. Love to have some, but I have none. And she was getting hit with that name, Pocahontas. That was one of the good ones. And they said, we want you to apologize for that name. And I did. I apologized. Nobody ever heard me apologize before. I apologized. To the real Pocahontas, I apologize. But she went out and she said, oh, this guy's killing me. Remember, she was dropping like a rock. But I learned something. Never do it too early. A year and a half before the election, I said, what am I doing? I should have saved it. But that's all right. Because she had those burning embers, and then she started, but ultimately she failed. She's gone so. But she was really mean to Mini Mike, I'll tell you, the way she treated her. He didn't know what hit him. He's going, oh, get me off of this stage. Get me off! Get me off of this
stage! I'm sorry. I'm just not seeing it. I'm just not seeing it. It'll take a hell of a lot of convincing for me to be like, yeah, Biden's got this. Biden's going to obliterate Trump on stage. Please. Nobody believes that. Nobody believes that. Nobody believes that. Nobody believes that. The dude can barely string 2 sentences together. Barely. He's got a cognitive decline. Come on now. We know better. We know better. If you go back, though, 4 years ago, if you go back 6 years ago, 12 years ago, Biden was a beast as far as debates go. I remember Paul Ryan. I remember Sarah Palin. Like, Biden was no fucking joke. This is not the same Biden. This is not the same Biden. Like Trump was saying, Biden needs to be sitting down somewhere retired in a home. And he's going to hammer away with that during the debates. So, yeah, this is not the same Biden. There's no way. Right now, people are voting for Biden to spite Bernie. I mean, that's really what it is. But when it comes to the general, there's no fucking way. There's no way. So Elizabeth Warren has dropped out, but she has not endorsed anybody. And I don't see her endorsing anybody. I really don't. I really don't. Sanders supporters are begging for an endorsement. Do you really want it, though? I mean, I know you want him to win. I know you want Bernie Sanders to win. I get it. I completely understand. But it's like taking back, a toxic ex. She shivved you. She knifed you. She said you did this and that. She called you out on some bullshit, which was untrue, in front of all these people. She spun this narrative of you. She made you look horrible. And now you're answering her phone call. Now you're taking her back. Dude, you can do better. I get it. Bernie Sanders supporters, you're gonna do what the calculative move is, and you want to win. I completely get it, but it still looks like you're bending the knee. You're bending the fucking knee. All right, and then if she endorses Biden, well, she just shows she's been playing the progressive card, and she's not really progressive. So. It's been a lot. Michael Bloomberg's dropped out. It's been a lot. I missed a lot. It's so much shit to talk about. I missed a lot. But, yeah, that's pretty much, it in a nutshell. We've got another collection of states coming up. I believe it's Tuesday. And it should be interesting. I can't call it. Because Biden was winning places that, Biden won Massachusetts. Nobody saw that coming. Bernie Sanders was... It was, almost a given that he was going to win Mass, and Biden won it. Nobody saw that shit coming. So I can't call what's going to happen coming up. It's really hard to call. I don't see Warren, endorsing anyone. I see her waiting till it's the actual nominee, and then going with them. Joe Biden's not gonna make Andrew Yang his VP. That's not gonna happen. I know, Yang Gang was. We were looking kind of desperate at one point. We were looking really actually pathetic at one point. We were like, well, Yang and Bloomberg. Let's do Yang and Bloomberg. Yang and Biden. I'll take a Yang and Biden. Stop just tossing Yang to everyone. Like, stop. I'm sure he has morals, right? I'm sure he has morals. I'm sure Yang is incredibly calculative himself. Like, stop just pushing him on to other candidates. Like, stop it. That's just weird, okay? Well, Biden will endorse UBI. There's nothing that indicates Biden would ever endorse UBI. He doesn't care enough to endorse UBI, and neither did Bloomberg, which is really fucking weird. But I digress. Andrew Yang has launched a non-profit aimed at making his former campaign ideas a reality. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, back like a phoenix from the ashes. Yang ain't done. Yang ain't done. I knew Yang wasn't done. So what Yang has done is he's launched a group called HumanityFWD. And it will endorse and provide resources to political candidates who embrace universal basic income, human-centered capitalism, and other aligned policies at every level. Yang, who ended his campaign in February, rose from obscurity to become a highly visible candidate, rallying a coalition of liberal Democrats, libertarians, and some disaffected Republicans to form a devoted group of followers known as the Yang Gang. A prominent platform in his campaign was the Freedom Dividend, a plan to give every American adult $1,000 a month, and that would help with social ills and help eradicate poverty. The new group also plans to increase voter turnout in the 2020 election with a particular focus on young Americans and Asian Americans, shout out to my Asian American peoples, independents, and individuals who have not been engaged in the political process. And there's been a lot of people who just aren't voting because this shit's a joke. So, additionally, Yang, who is now a CNN political commentator, will launch a podcast in which he will discuss new ideas to solve the greatest challenges of our time, and he'll have notable guests on there. Our campaign grew so much because we had a clear diagnosis of the problems that face our country and a real vision for how to solve them. We're in the midst of the greatest tech and economic transformation in the history of the world, and we need real solutions to make the economy work for us, the people. According to the release, Yang, in an effort to showcase how he proposed Freedom Dividend would work. He also committed to personally give $1,000 a month for an entire year to one donor of the new organization. So obviously people have been donating, A, because they support what he's doing, and B, because who doesn't want $1,000 a month? So this is awesome. I've been seeing it all around, people talking about Humanity Forward, and this is just great. This is just great. Yang doesn't twiddle his thumbs. He doesn't sit on his ass. I'm sure his mind is always moving. It's always working. And just because he didn't become POTUS doesn't mean he's still not going to try to help. He's going to do any and everything he can to help. And this is dope. I was happy to see this. I was eager to talk about it. And look, if you haven't donated, please do so. Yang needs, our help. And all this stuff is just keeping him in the limelight until 2024 as well. It's keeping him going. It's keeping him going, and I love the fact that he's out there doing these things, because come 2024, motherfuckers are going to know who he is. That was one of the biggest issues he had running this campaign, was recognition. Nobody knew who he was. So yeah, this is dope. I'm going to see if I can get a link. I'm going to see if I can get a link to donate to Humanity Forward and put it in the description. So you guys can donate if you already haven't. I'm guessing most of you already know about this. But this is awesome. This is awesome. So yeah, a lot's happened in this primary. And I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know where it's going to go. We got a debate coming up. And they fucking decided to exclude Tulsi, even though she made the debate stage technically. I might talk about that some more in a different segment. But yeah, shout out to Yang. Humanity Forward. Donate. Get that $1,000 a month too for a year. That's freaking amazing. So if you like what you see, if you like what you hear, please like, comment, subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. If you don't, let me know in the comment section why. I'm always down to talk about it. I have a Cash App, a PayPal, and a Venmo link in the description below. Please feel free to donate to the channel. Every little bit helps. Hopefully I'll be talking to you guys soon. Have a good one. Peace.
Run free and dive into the sky. Hear the wind crying out its prayer. Why are we so ashamed to be alive?